Oh, but the tweet.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's the final day of Test cricket for 2022, one suspects anyway.
England Test cricket.
England Test cricket. The last day that we're doing, Messi. Obviously, you're spamming South Africa in 2 days on dodgy pitches down in Australia, obviously. But the rest of us have only got a few more days left in the year, and this is probably the last day of Test cricket. I'm going to be bold here and say it's going to be the last half hour of Test cricket we're going to see here. I reckon I'm going to be in bed by 6. Is my beckoning as we come to day 4 of the third Test in Pakistan. Jesus Christ, that's how tired I am. The wife was pissed last night when she got home. She had a Christmas party. It was quite an effort. And England historically could win this series 3-0 away from home. Considering how bad we were just a year ago, Ben Stokes stands to be a captain who has played 11 tests as captain and won 10 of them, and only lost 1. Quite astounding switcheroo for this England time. I'm joined for this historic moment by Al Hodge, fresh from the Wirral, and we got Messi Jez from his weather cave down in Perth. How you doing, boys?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing more than okay. Santa Stokes has given the gift of hope to English men's Test cricket, and I am all for it.
Yeah, I was driving around last night and I was thinking, I was thinking about asking Messi this. I mean, look, Australia went there last year, won a tough series 1-0, and they're thinking that's really good. They go and watch England go blitz Pakistan in Pakistan. Well, I mean, what do the Australians think of all this? Do they think shit? What roller coaster are we up against next year, or do they go, nah, stupid?
I don't think they think either of those things. I think they know they're in for a really good fight in the Ashes next year. But they also did really well against a good Pakistan team that wasn't quite as diminished by injury as this one has been.
That's true.
I think it's going to be a fantastic Ashes next year. I'm really, really hoping that Jofra is fit. Because that'll make all the difference. I think it's going to be two fantastic teams, certainly bowling teams, playing in interesting circumstances. I do actually think that the England batting lineup may face some problems against Australia on English pitches, even with the Bazball approach. But, you know, that's one of the beautiful unknowns for next year. This has been an amazing year for England cricket ever since they got back from the West Indies.
I'm hopeful for all the series and bits and pieces that happened before that. You know, this isn't just about, you know, it's nice that there's some Ashes cricket next year, but I'd still be excited if there wasn't. You know.
Well, I would be, but that's the big one.
Well, it's the one we tell ourselves is the big one.
Well, we're English, of course it is. It's fucking Australia. Got to beat the Australians, especially at home. But you say that, Messi, but we've faced, you know, whilst you say that, we faced some bloody good bowling attacks and done it to them all. So, you know, I don't think England will fear.
Yeah.
You know, done it to New Zealand, done it to the Indian bowling attack. None of those two are slouches. This may be a worse bowling attack that we faced for a while. But it's not a bad bowling attack, especially Abrar looks pretty good as a newbie. They've had a couple of decent spinners. England have just never let them settle. You know, in the first test they had Nazim Shah, they had Harris Ralph, didn't let them settle. Those two weren't slouches in the first test. So, I think we will face problems. But equally, for the reasons that we've taken wickets by keeping fielders in the right places to actually force wickets, the same will occur to Australia. And the thought of doing that to someone like Labuschagne and Smith fills me with joy. You know. Well, you know, you put fielders where they think, well, you know, they cause pressure, they start moving the ball around, and England still keep the fielders in, let the odd 4 go. But that slight mistake that one of them makes a slight aerial clip through the leg side, actually there's a fielder there this time, and they get caught, and they don't make 100, they make 60 instead, and it makes it all tighter. I think is what makes it so exciting prospect, really.
I am just looking at the pictures. I'm going to let you jingle up some batsmen. Ben Stokes. I think he's got butter on his gloves because he's walking out and he's giving these big both-nest swings of his bat around his body, and I know he did it yesterday, but he's done it again today. He's dropped his bat.
Well, I've never seen anybody throw his bat as far as he did yesterday. That was amazing.
Not even Dennis Lilly when he threw his aluminium bat, that reached square leg. Right, let's have some jingles for the batsman. Who's facing out first ball? 50 not out, overnight.
He's looking good now, he's in with the aces. He was up at Stowe School playing T20. He might play for England, but he'll still be Ben Duckett to me.
Well, first ball bowled by this man is just defended out to a short mid-on.
I want to reach out and grab you.
Second ball is clipped into the leg side. It's all very sedate this morning, and that goes to mid-wicket, overrun.
What a pair of jingles to open with, though.
Indeed.
They're classics.
Clipped third ball straight to short with wicket once again. Ben Duckett one, that's Piano Man, isn't it? Is that Piano Man?
Yeah.
It is. Is that Billy Joel?
Billy Joel to start the day.
Fourth ball defended stoutly by Duckett. This isn't what we were expecting. Back down the track, there's no run. I'm sure we won't get it from the other end with Stokes. I'm sure he's going to charge his first ball.
I want to be in bed, goddammit.
Well, yeah. I don't think. Well, I mean, I certainly don't think it'll go beyond 6 o'clock. But I was hoping 5:30. Well, there's the first sweep in the morning. Down towards fine leg, and it'll be a single to get Duckett off the mark. Which will give Stokes, the skipper, who has a jingle that goes like this, 1 ball.
Ben? Ben Stokes.
It has to be said, presumably the pitch was rolled this morning. It didn't really move off the straight that much in that last in this over so far. 113 for 2 England. They require 54 runs to win. Stokes is back and just knocks it into the leg side, and they saunter through for an easy single. Who opens at the other end then? Will they open with the other spinner? Now,
Well, they've got to, haven't they? They only bowled three bowlers, didn't they? The whole of the first inning.
Yeah, well, Fahim Ashraf bowled yesterday as well, didn't he? He finally got some overs, and Mohammed Wazim.
Mog's really pissed off. He said, "Piano Man, what'd you take me for? Some karaoke wrangling hack?" That was, of course, she's only
a woman to me. Sorry, Mog. Sorry. It's early where I am.
Yeah, it's very early.
It might still be yesterday where I am. I don't know.
Well, my wife arrived back at what, about 11:15.
Are we talking tired and emotional?
Just pissed, and she doesn't get pissed very often. She had Christmas party. She sent me when I left here yesterday morning at 12:30. Her boss had been banging on about this. He's a kind of posh boy. He bought a special sword for knocking off corks off champagne. And she sent me a video of that at 12:30, opening the first bottle, and she arrived back at 11:15.
What a wanker!
Yeah, he's a
So I've got a story to tell you between balls by this man.
Well, down the track comes Stokes too. They've decided to open a bit of pace. It's this man round the wicket.
Mohammed Wazim Jr. played for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and the thing his heart desires is to be a star.
Immediately shuffling down the track. It might take a couple of overs to get in and then start swinging.
So, in one of my previous lives before what I'm doing now, I used to work for the UK MOD.
Wazim is smeared. That's all you can say about that. Out towards Cow Corner, and it's going to be the first boundary of the morning. That was just stand and deliver from Stokesy. Down to the boundary, 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Slightly down the track, here's a man who's got a reservation to do some. Yeah. Here's a man who's got stuff to do.
Well, you're getting an early flight home, be home for Christmas to see the kids.
Yeah. So I used to work for in part of the UK MOD.
MOD?
Yeah, Ministry of Defence.
Oh yeah.
Or the Ministry of Magic, depending on how you feel.
A little bit turned around there, Stokes. Should have played it onto the leg side. It was a full bungo, about knee high. He's looking to clip it down to square leg. Gets a massive leading edge. It goes out past cover towards mid-off, and they'll get through for a single.
And so we used to do research and development stuff was the bit that I was involved in. And some colleagues of mine doing some work and got invited to a ceremonial dinner, and one of them was given the opportunity to be able to do that whole thing with like drawing the sword and then wiping off the gore, and made such a pig's ear of it that she spent 4 hours in A&E and nearly lost the club.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. That's Ben Duckett trying to guide it past. There's a short third man, but he can't beat the short third man, and it'll just be no run.
Yeah, so if done right, yeah, like you said, in the right hands it's fine. In anybody else's hands, it's unnecessary and potentially dangerous.
Of course it's bloody unnecessary. But anyway, so she appeared. I thought they were having an afternoon lunch or whatever, and she was going to be home at sort of maybe 7 or 8 o'clock. She kept ringing me, and I'm sounding more and more pissed. So she sort of.
Well, the boot's on the other foot, I bet.
Well, exactly. That's exactly what I thought. It made me chuckle immensely as that one's clipped into the leg side, and there is no run. A short mid wicket gets in the way.
Did you ever think that there was going to be I'm very tired. I'm very tired. I need you to come pick me up. I'm very tired.
Well, that's exactly what happened. from the station. And then she sort of, weaved her way to the car.
It could have been worse. It could have been worse. After tired emotion comes overwrought.
Well, yeah, but
and then regret, shame and regret.
well, she's got to go to work this morning. That's what's funny about it. That's defended back down the track and there's no run.
Do you think that she is at this current moment in time drooling the drool of regret into the pillow of remorse?
Well, it could be that way, and no doubt.
Okay, so give me a chance to greet some of our tweeters.
Okay, yes, please do.
One of my very favourite, Diana Patterson, says, I don't imagine this will take too long, so I'll quickly say thank you for all you do. My life will be incomplete without you. Have a happy Christmas and a glorious 2023. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you
very
so much to
Diana.
Everybody who's supported us this year. It's been fantastic.
Well, you know what you can
Including
do
Mark.
if you support us and you want to give someone a Christmas present. Patreon Guerrilla Cricket for them. Or just do it for yourself and give us a happy Christmas. As Abra is in and Stokes goes back and knocks it up to Long On, who got himself a single. Because we need your support to keep going. Don't come for free. It comes for nearly. Well, it comes for free for you lot, but it costs us in time, effort, and there are bills that need requiring. And Patreon keeps us going. It covers all those costs. Swept by Duckett down to Long Leg, who got himself a single. So if you fancy doing that, patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket. Or go to Redbubble and buy yourself a T-shirt for Christmas.
Or alternatively, if you're an organisation that wants to send free stuff to the bear, hashtag send us a big box of that.
Yes, well, Brian keeps me in beer, which is he's a very pleasant man. He should be getting something actually for Christmas in return. Try and get some tweets in between. I know it's difficult.
Yeah, Mark says, Jesus wept, fuck off with all this gift of hope.
No. Come on, Mog. We're just getting schmaltzy for half an hour, and then we'll be back to normal. That's driven out through the covers for 2 runs by Stokes.
You will not trample on my joy. I will not let you, Mog.
Well, it gives me an extra day to catch up on the things that I need to do before Christmas Day on Sunday. I've got to go and I've got to go food shopping at some point this week. That's going to be a nightmare. Abra down a wicket. Comes Stokes, doesn't get to the pitch of it, just clips it to mid-wicket and there's no run. But it's not hair up scare him this morning. I thought they would just come out, throw the bat and try and hit a few sixes and get over the line, but they're being quite sedate about it. Reverse sweat, big appeal, not out. Joel Wilson, it's never quite where, Joel Wilson, you never know, but that looked like it was probably pitching outside off, probably hit outside off, and certainly wasn't straightening enough to come back onto the stumps.
Do you think at some point that Joel Wilson giving it not out makes the fielding side more interested?
Well, yes, it certainly did yesterday when he didn't give that LBW from
They got
Wood.
2 in a row, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Strange Carrot says, in non-cricket news, sad to wake up to Terry Hall from the special skies, age 63.
That's really, so 63 is no age, man, and he was a little bit of a genius, and as Forthy was obviously a Coventry man himself, and they put them on the map really. Wazim is down leg. It's not going to be a wide. It's not a one-day international.
I loved the release from the specials, and they talked about at the end of every life-affirming specials gig, as they called it. Terry Hall would end with the words "love, love, love," which I thought was lovely. So there you go.
He was an interesting man.
Mog says your wife's boss is a genuine flog there.
Let's keep the Bears' wife in the job, shall we?
Yes. Let's do that. Wazim around the wicket, nicely driven by Duckett, but straight to mid-off. And there is no run.
And Steve Kellett says, morning all, looks like the PCB can't be bothered to stream the coverage today. I don't blame them. I noticed the chair of the PCB stepped down overnight. Whether he was pushed pretty hard in the process, wouldn't be surprised at all.
Why?
Well, because they lost 3-0.
is that really the reason for the head of the PCB to resign?
It is in Pakistan.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
clearly. Wazim in, and that's nicely played by Duckett, winding up a mid. I can't thread it through though. He will just get the single.
Dear me! I mean, if you think about all those periods of ineptitude in England where there was so many losing series in a row, I think we all would have had to go at being chairman of the ECB if that had been.
Well, let's be fair.
But you didn't burn anybody's houses down when they lost, did you?
Yeah, effigy burning. No, I mean we were calling for what's his name's head last year.
Is that a thing? Can we burn people in effigy if we lose?
Well, yeah, we can do if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite harmless, really.
Maybe that's something for Redbubble.
Oh look, it's frozen as there was about to be a slam through the offside. Pakistan has decided to stop broadcasting. No, well he clearly didn't hit it, did Stokesy? Or if he did, it went to a fielder because they didn't run. And
all I can tell you looking at this on two screens is that I saw the ball on neither of them.
Well, exactly.
It was well outside the off stump. He played an extraordinarily ugly attempted cut, which missed entirely.
Yeah, well that's what it looked like it was shaping to do. He was either going to hit it or miss it, and he missed it. Stokesy, 19 not out of 25. Down a track, meets it on the full, jabs it up to mid-on. They'll go through for a quick single. It's all a bit last day of term out there, isn't it? Pakistan know they're going to lose. England know they're going to win. It's rather it was over quicker rather than soon, later, really.
Mike says, morning all, what a year it's been for Gorilla. Let's hope 2023 is going to be even better, eh? Thank you, Mike.
Well, yes. I looked at the Future Tours programme and I completely forgot about the World Cup. Wazim is in, and that keeps a little bit low. Duckett plays it back to him, there's no run. Give us some tweets.
Well, at least it's in India this time.
Well, yeah.
Ravin says, so Bear's wife has a boss who sabres champagne bottles. You know what swords are, right? Freud would be instantly referring them to the porn bot. Rich Turner says, morning all, shocked to learn of Terry Hall's death. Definitely my era in music. Are we only on for an hour this morning? I think that's probably about right, Rich. Richard Royal says, I'm curious folks, do you tend to have more listeners for tests or short form games? I ask because I'm only joining you all for tests and I wonder if I'm typical or atypical. Thanks.
I think you're quite typical actually. I do think we have more listeners for tests. So people like the narrative that goes along with a test. It's a lot more chilled at the Gorilla Towns when the tests are on. We can talk a lot more bullshit as well. As that one's clipped into the leg side, the short leg, and there's no run.
Although we would
no shortage of that.
Yes,
we would invite you to join us for all formats.
Oh, you'd indeed. We'd indeed.
And
oh,
no
look,
ball.
no ball too. A no ball. Spinner bowling no ball. That's that's the scene.
Richard finishes off with thank you for all you do from a Julia in Colorado.
Over the line, that's a foul.
That's our pleasure to you, Patronus.
Yeah.
Down the track comes Stokes. He was going to give that the big wahoo, and I think Abrar just took all the pace off it and gave it a lot of air. And he was there way too early, Stokes, and ends up just covering up. He's not going to throw it away today, which I'd like to see. He looked like he was going to throw it away last night. Quite easily could have done. He was absolutely manic when he came out last night. I think he was desperate to try and get it finished, even though there really wasn't time. This time he just goes back and lets it come onto the bat, runs it down to third man and get himself a single.
I really loved them sending Ahmed out on number 3.
Yes. Well, Stokesy also. I mean, Stokes is due to come in. I mean, does he class himself as a Knights watchman, or he just said to the boys, he said, look, I'm captain this side. Tomorrow's going to be a victory. I want to be there when we win 3-0 in Pakistan at the crease. And tough. Well, now that's crazy. Duckett's gone to reverse sweep there, but he's gone so early that it was massively telegraphed. Abrar shoved it down what would have been his leg side by about 3 feet.
He's still going.
Duckett was actually turned around and then just played an ugly sort of swipe to get it out to what would have been point if he was batting left-handed. Turned out to be square leg as he was turned around.
He would have been.
It wasn't
better
pretty, but it was 2 runs. That's telegraph. That's a good shot. 4 runs. He's gone laps that over his shoulder. Baba, to be fair to him, saw him going down and was quick to sort of run across behind Rizwan to try and catch it down there. He'd gone before the ball had got there.
He's only just got it over his head.
And it has only just gone over his head. That was Really good
Nice.
thinking by Baba. Ooh. But instead, England get 4 runs. See, he's in the mood now. He's had his 3 overs. Duckett gets down, sweeps that hard for another one of these.
2 plus 2 is on man. 2 plus 2 is on man.
Gets that one hard and square instead of down towards a long leg, and no one can get around to field it. There's absolutely nothing. It's not turning off the deck this morning at all. These wickets have been weird in Pakistan. There's been more turn on days, day one, and it seems to die for periods as well when nothing happens. Maybe it's just the rolling in the morning, and the first hour is just easy, and then it starts to get a little bit harder. But next ball is swept again. This time it is down to long leg, and they'll get a single off the last ball of the over.
It's like the pitch and the hardness of all the age of the ball come together and create these moments of where it looks a completely different pitch to bat and bowl on.
Yeah, I mean the ball is only 20 overs old. It did get a bit of a hammering to start with, I suppose, but still.
So Mayank says, what's worse, the locals drinking towel tea unenthusiastically, or the Brits overacting like their life depends on it?
Now, come on. There was a great storyline for EastEnders that was acted out in that last advertisement. Other teas are available, by the way.
Was he around the wickets? Nicely driven by Stokes. Very straight, but so is mid-on. Can't beat him, and there ain't no run. England now just require 29. It was 12, 13 off that last over.
Yeah, it took a bit of hammering in the end that last over. So, what are the big things that you're going to take away from the series, apart from Pakistan seems an amazing place to play Test cricket?
Well, the one thing I would say after this ball, Wasim is up to the crease, clipped or driven with no foot movement by Duckett, straight to cover, and there's no run. There's a lot of interchangeable parts in this England squad now. You know, we've gone out to, I mean, you think the squad we took out there, when I looked at it I was like, fucking hell, we got Duckett, we got Livingston, we got no second spinner of note, we got Will Jacks, we got a combination of 3 second spinners and things like that, and you kind of wonder whether it was all going to hang together or we were going to get battered, and now look where we are. And you kind of think, well, because they're playing like this, there's a lot of capable players who can play like this, and therefore there's a lot of interchangeable parts in the England side. That's nicely cut by Duckett. It's probably someone out of deep cover, but he's not out at backward point, and he just guides that nicely down to the boundary for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And this is
Some sweet time in there from Duckett.
well, exactly. And he I mean, this is what I take away from Bazball and I take away from Bairstow last summer, is that if you can get on top of even the best bowlers, they don't know where to bowl, right? So, and you open up opportunities, and there's a bit of luck involved. That's very full by Wasim, driven up to mid-on, and there's no run. But even the best bowlers, if so Australia come out, Cummins comes in, or Hazelwood opens the bowling, and someone starts trying to carve him through and gets away with it for 3 overs at the top end of an Ashes test. Suddenly it puts everyone on the back foot in the opposition, because it's not normal, they don't expect it, and they think they're better than that. And to a certain degree it's kind of psychological mind games. When there are plenty of players who can do that, if you give them a head to just attack, there are quite a few batsmen who you wouldn't think are international class but can probably get away with that if they want to play on this side. As that's driven up towards mid-on, it actually bounces off Stokes' bat to mid-off, and there is no run.
Mog's asking a question. So, should I start doing the jingles for the Women's World Cup next year, Bear?
No. I don't think, unless we get some more staff and people want to take it on. I'm sure Knack would have done that. That's driven hard by Duckett. There is a sweeper out there. They're going to come back for 2. They are going to come back for 2. Just in front of the man who's at the steep point.
There's probably a compromise there of some big games in there.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Semi-finals and finals,
Now Mog is at a complete loss as to which jingles to create. Although you'd have to say that if you're doing semi-finals, you've got to be looking at Australia and India and
England at least.
I think.
And
Probably New Zealand.
AN other, yeah, exactly.
Maybe South Africa.
The women's game is getting a lot better. Go on.
Yeah, it certainly has been a great series, but in India and Australia, fifth game is tonight. Mrs. Luigi Magpie says, hello, Saturnalia, Merry Solstice, Happy Hogs Watch, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, blessed and happy winter holidays, however you celebrate. Thank you, GC, especially for the replays.
All right, thank you. That one is off the thigh pad. Was it caught by Shakir at short leg?
It was caught, and he went up to the umpire. He sort of held it up to the umpire, and then found that no one in the rest of his team was interested in it.
Well, it looked to me like it came off the thigh pad, so that's tossed up. Stokes goes back. The pitch is so fucking slow. It's so low. He wanted to smear that into the leg side. It's just not getting up.
It was a good sharp catch by him.
It was.
At board square leg.
Did it not come off the? Nah, he missed it by a long way, didn't he?
I think it's the visual illusion of the bat.
It came off
the
like it
contact
came off
point.
the. Yeah, it came like it came off the splice.
Yeah.
It just plopped into his hands. Abrar, 2 for 63. He's got the 2 wickets. He's a good find for Pakistan. As that one is played back down the track by Duckett to him, and that is no run. England now just requiring 22. We're due a change in 8 minutes. Is it going? We're going to get 22 runs in 8 minutes?
No.
Well, Mike, there's 4 more there. That's a horrible ball down leg side.
Oh,
Duckett has swept it. I don't think he's got enough on it for once to get it for 4. Bit of an under edge. Scuffed it. They'll get back for 2. He's had a good series, Duckett. 72. I'd like to know how many runs he's got in it. What, he's got virtually a 50 in every innings, hasn't he?
He's
and 1 ton.
He seems like he's found his place.
Well, yeah. Again, he's not one you put down. That's what I mean about an interchangeable side. I mean, Duckett opening. The last time was disastrous. As that one is attempted sweep. Slog sweep by Duckett, misses it. And,
so his scores have been 107 and 0, 63 and 79, and then in this game, what did he get in the first innings?
I got a 50 in the first innings, didn't he? Swept hard down towards deep long leg, and there's a single or 40 or something.
He got 26.
So he's only had 1 proper failure, 1 half failure, and everything else has been 50 or above.
Yeah.
That's pretty, in 3 tests, that's pretty good going.
Something to keep your eye on next year. There's a very real opportunity that if Harry Brook does well in New Zealand, that he could break the record for quickest to 1,000 test runs.
Wow!
In terms of innings, he's got 12 is the record.
You've just jinxed him.
Of course I have.
So what's he got? He's got 3 tons in this series, hasn't he?
Well, he's got over 500 runs in this series, but it'll only be 5 innings. I know he's had 6 test innings so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, because he batted once in. He got about 12, didn't he? That's full, and Duckett drives it up to mid off, and there's no run.
Better have a look in the waiting room, see if David Brooks there. By the way,
he's not there.
Mayank says, let's keep the party going. India versus Bangladesh begins tomorrow at 3:30 a.m. UK time. Get up, drive to the studio and broadcast. Give me my Patreon money's worth. There are limits, Mayank. It's not even been shown on TV here.
I don't think it is here either. It might be, I don't know. But you got Buckley's chance of that, mate. That's tripping up to mid on and there's no run. Tony's not making it today.
Is he not?
The most forgetful man. He is. He's had a plumbing disaster. Apparently, his water coming through his ceiling last night. I got a text at 10:30. He's not actually due on until after lunch, so I don't even know why he was bothering to tell me. It was never going to go that far anyway. No, he wasn't coming into the studio either. Oh, that's driven nicely and hard by Duckett, but straight at cover. And there's no run.
I always worry that it's like, with a shot like that, it must have felt so nice off the bat. He's like, yes! Oh!
Got a Mr. Fielder. England down into the teens now, requiring 19 to win.
Hawkster says, just read the wisdom read that asks... Hold on.
Clipped by Duckett out to mid-wicket, and there ain't no run.
That asks, will Folkes be dropped for Bairstow when he's fit? He says, can Johnny Bairstow really be expected to crouch jump at L as a keeper after coming back from that leg injury? Surely not. Yeah, frankly,
well,
I'm very reluctant to leave Folkes out in any circumstances.
It's going to be tricky, isn't it? Because as Wazim comes around the wicket, Duckett, who drives that again, mid-on is straight, no run. It is going to be tricky in that middle order. You got Root at 4, you got to find a 5, and you got 5, 6, and 7, which you presume Folkes is at 7. So if Bairstow comes back, you got to say that that's probably Brooke has to stay in. So if Bairstow does end up at number 7, is it worth giving him the gloves? You know, as that's driven up to mid-off and there's no run, or do they? I mean, Duckett will feel hard. I mean, does Duckett go to bloody New Zealand even? I don't know. Probably, because Alex Lees isn't coming back. I mean, Crawley's the one of the openers who, although he got a ton in the first test, they're still flattered to deceive. He got another 50, didn't he? And he run himself out in one innings.
Yeah.
I would not wishing to pour scorn on the whatever decision we make seems to be the right one bandwagon, but I would be very reluctant to have Bairstow opening in.
Yeah, I would too. But having said that, Duckett.
Remember how well it worked with Josh, rather.
Well, yeah. Down the track comes Stokes, hits that high, handsome, and I think it's gone all the way down someone's throat that didn't really catch it. He managed to overrun it. I thought it was going to go all the way, but it didn't.
Great effort.
Salmon down in the deep. I don't know how far he was from it, but he didn't get across to it. He was trying to catch it a couple of inches off the ground by the time he reached it. Stokes hit that more vertical than length. He had a way to go. He just about got his fingertips to it on the dive and couldn't cling on. Ended up being 2 runs. This time he goes back and just defends it back down the track and there's no run. Got away with a run there, Stokesy. Better teams would have hung on to that, but not that I think it'll make any difference. But he's had a quite poor series with a bat, hasn't he, Stokes? He gets himself a bit frenetic. I think he starts going a bit too hard. He got 180. Did he get an 80 or a 70 or something in the last test?
He's actually got quite reasonable scores.
He got a 41 in double quick time and 17 balls in 1 innings. I do remember that.
It's difficult to remember the context around all the innings, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's swept fine by Stokes. It's going to be cut off down at long leg by Wazim, but he'll get back for 2.
So Mayank says, you won't cover the Women's T20 World Cup? Sexist. I'll take it all on for you. Yeah. Good luck with that.
If we start doing all the women's games as well, I'll never have a day off.
And Ravi Nair says to Mrs. Luigi Magpie, you read Terry Pratchett, I like you extra.
That's defended up to mid-off after not getting to the pitch of it, Stokesy, but he scrambles through for a quick single. They're thinking of DRS time. You're thinking of appealing that. It was about 5 yards down the track and outside off stump. They did do a couple of terrible reviews yesterday. They did review one that they got correct. That wasn't given out. And that was Crawley, it was LBW. Again, blowing Joel Wilson not getting it right. Now that's a leading edge. That one did turn. It was a googly from Abra. But it went off the edge past first slip. Well, where second slip would have been catchable height too. Instead it weebles its way down to third man and they get 2 runs. And that's the end of the over. Time for switcheroo. David hasn't turned up, so I guess it's us three. Out, take over the BBB, and Messi, you just sit where you are.
Yep.
Because the other person was supposed to be... Yeah, it's only Dave. He was supposed to be on to do some...
So Mog says, well, I'll get to pre-jingling Nepal and the US then. There's always plenty to be done, isn't there? Hawkster says Winston's view on Folks was for him to in at 6 as a glue around the middle order hitters and have Stokes at 7 with the tail. I like that. I think that's actually spot on. I think that's a really good idea.
Stokes is too good a batsman to be having at 7.
And Mog says, so when is the next game for the covering? It'll be ODIs versus South Africa in January.
Yeah, towards the end of January. I think the first one's 24th of January.
Full toss by Wazim outside the off stump, driven by Stokes, but only to cover. Umpire's call for the... It was hitting the stumps.
Yeah, it was hitting the stumps. But he was over 3 metres down the track.
The 27th, the 29th of January and the 1st of February, the 3 ODIs South Africa, and then the 16th of February for the New Zealand first test.
Another overnight. No, we've been to New Zealand a lot.
Another full toss and driven again by Stokes, but this time he beats the cover fielder and that careens into the fence, and there is 8 left to win.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
That was a nice shot. You can time that one though, can't you? Because it's on the full. You don't have to worry about coming off this dead surface.
So the fat lady has done her vocal exercises and is approaching the stage.
Indeed.
Slower ball, half tracker. Stokes is through that shot as if he was trying to play it yesterday, way too early, and goes through to the keeper on the 3rd or 4th bounce. 159 for 2.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, to a certain degree, apart from the fact that it starts at 9. It's going to start at 9:30, I think, the Kiwi tests. But we haven't won in New Zealand for a bloody long time either.
Turns out they're a really good team.
Yeah.
Yorker length delivery on leg stump, defended back to the bowl.
Well, again, their pitches are pretty dead.
I also think they're on the way down at the moment.
I definitely think they're on the way down. I mean, if they don't have Trent, well, that's a big miss for an international side of the calibre. Having a bowler that far, missing that kind of bowler.
They've got this nasty habit of just producing new players when they need it. So it'll be interesting. There's like short and pulled away. Is there a fielder there? There is a deep square leg, so that will just be 1. What a mighty fine smash of a shot it was for 1.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of players are coming to the end of their careers, aren't they? I mean, you've got Southey's 36. I don't know how old Kane is, but he's got a few years left. You've got Wagner's not young. Carl Jameson, I presume, is a new boy on a block, but he's prone to injury as well. You've got Matt Henry, he's been around and about, but he's not the youngest. Where are the next crop of bowlers? I mean, that's kind of where they've had some talent. I mean, they've lost Ross Taylor, he's a talented batsman. You kind of think the powerhouse of their middle order of bowling is coming to the end of its careers.
Tucked away by Duckett off the hip behind square on the leg side, and he'll take a single, and that will bring Wazim's over to an end. England are 161 for 2, and 1 lusty blow over the fence will do it.
Ravin Iyer says, is the website back up yet? I haven't dared to check.
Yeah, no, it was just basically the SSL certificate was out of date and it's supposed to auto-renew, and of course it didn't, so I had to give them a ring. It was back up by about it was back up by the time we got off air yesterday, so you shouldn't have any problems with it today. Obviously the GPL isn't open today because England were going to win and they were going to get 55 runs, 56 runs, 57 runs, 58 runs, or possibly 62 runs or 60 runs or whatever it is for 6 off the last ball as the scores were level. So we're not going to give money away for free. You have to earn it.
Mayank says tests in New Zealand are perfect. They start at 5 p.m. East Coast US time. You don't need to be up all night, and they generally are great matches.
Abros's first ball of this over is just dabbed by Duckett into the offside field, and sharply taken single brings the captain on strike.
Yeah, I think they're slightly better in Australia, and they start 3 hours earlier, so you finish about 4:35, which I can kind of get with. I get quite pissed by that time in the morning, and still get a decent night's sleep and wake up at midday.
Yeah, fair enough.
Stokes sweeps, and this is reached deep square leg on the bounce, and now one semi-lusty blow to the pence will do it. 4 to win.
Well, I said I'd be back in bed by 5:45. That's not going to be quite that, but
Yeah, my commute back up the stairs is going to be a real pain in the ass. As this is defended sorry, Ben, into the offside field by Duckett.
of course, the problem with London is of course, we're frozen for a week, unfrozen. Every single fucking water main you can imagine has burst.
Yeah, same here as well. Defended to mid-on for the 4th ball of the over.
There was the amount of roads that are shut because they're filled with water.
Swept by Duckett off this penultimate ball of the over. And again, a walk-through single, and the runs required is now 3.
And yesterday on Honour Oak High Street, which is one of the main drags up the hill out of my area, fucking gable front of a house just fell out. Fortunately,
Jesus.
Fortunately, it didn't kill anybody.
Stokes down the ground, lusty blow. It's in the air.
It's going to be out.
Still in the air. It's over the top of the fielder. It clunks like a sandwich, and they have come back for 2.
He's determined to get. We haven't scored a 6 in this innings, have we? We're stuck on 88, which is the most in the calendar year.
There was some. He was making some reference to the dressing room. He was tapping his shoulder. I'm not entirely sure what that was about, but big boundaries here. Jez, do you want to get through a couple of tweets, because this over's going to be the last one?
Right, well, Mog says, I suppose I should get in now and say just how much my jingles enhanced your already excellent coverage.
Of course they do,
which is
Mog.
very true. And not only Mog, but Perko, Men with Ven, Senor Pio, Mark Zip, anybody else?
Hombre Nuevo sent us the one yesterday for Blind Joel Wilson.
Yeah. Any others we should acknowledge?
I can't think of any.
Well, if I might just say this, Wazim's ball wide outside the off stump. Duckett cuts it through the cover point. It goes for 4. And as inevitable as death and taxes is, England have won this 3rd Test match by 8 wickets. It didn't take long.
Nah, it was never going to take long. Cracking win by England, has to be said, doesn't it? I mean, to go to Pakistan and win over there, very difficult place to win. Won 3-0 on some pretty flat decks as well. Bazball has really worked in Pakistan. I think it was all set really in Rawalpindi on that first day when England got 506. And you just thought, wow, they've injected time into games where they needed. They've taken the chances. I mean, and a really good declaration by Stokes in that first test as well at tee on day 4, when could have quite easily just batted on for another session and put it out of touch of Pakistan. They gave him a chance to win the game and ended up winning. And it was basically as the sun was going down. There was probably only about 2 overs left at that game. Good bowling changes, good fields done by Stokes. He's always been aggressive throughout the series, tried to take the initiative, and they've succeeded. And I think they've kind of worn Pakistan down to the point where in his 3rd test they've really struggled, and it's actually been a bit of a battering. I mean, let's face it, bar half an hour, this was a 3-day test in Pakistan on a flat deck. You don't really think that's going to happen, do you? We were expecting 5-day grinds. The last test ended on the 4th day. So we got 1 day better. The next test would have been a 2-day test.
But eventually we'll have a test that's over before it starts.
Yeah, well. So quite fantastic. England have won the series 3-0.
Indeed.
Azhar Ali is receiving a lovely warm reception as he comes off the field, leading off his team, but also being welcomed by the England players who are gathered at the boundary's edge. Ali obviously emotional at the end of his career.
Well, yeah, over 7,000 test runs, triple century. First Pakistani to get a double century in Australia as an overseas batsman. Played
Hell
really
of a
well.
nice bloke too.
Yeah, really nice guy. You know, and good luck to him. Well, we could have a long spiel about this, that, and the other, but hey, we're good.
Well, I just want to say one thing. Seeing as this is the last time we're going live to air this year, I just want to acknowledge 3 people in particular. Hendo, who hasn't been able to be with us so much of late because of other issues, but who's played a big part. Tony Bishop, who's done an amazing job wrangling the rotors for a whole lot of cricket that we've done this year. The World Cup and this series is
endless changes day by day,
and dragging people out of bed a hell of a lot. But most of all, I just want to say thank you to you, Bear, because we get on air because of the Bear is not an understatement by any stretch.
As Tech Sundays have proved in the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely, and you do it. You know, you may give Bish or Jason a bit of a bollocking every now and then, but it's all done with great humour and much love. And the extent to which we appreciate you is probably understated, but you really are the reason we're able to do this. So I just want to say thanks so much to you, Bear, because I love doing this, and I think all of us who commentate really do enjoy doing this as well.
Stop.
Yes,
You're bringing a tear
right
to my eye.
Yeah, it's okay. God bless you.
Thanks for the kind words. Hey, look, you know, I love doing this. I love my cricket. I've been doing it for how long? I started with Test Match Sofa in 2009. I still do it. I still believe one day I'll make me a millionaire. It just hasn't for the last 14 years. And
and look how miserable all those millionaires are.
Well, exactly. Fuck them all. And plus, I'm determined to prove Norcross wrong one day, that it's an actual go, and he should have stuck with it rather than selling his soul to the devil at the BBC.
So I've got a few last tweets too. Crypto Rocketeer says, thanks for the great work, guys. Mog says much the same thing, but in different words. He just says, piss off, back to bed, you bastards. And he also says that's why they pay us the big bucks in relation to the jingling they do. And we've got a few over on YouTube. Dan De Castro, Samantha G, Zakid Sahil, a number of people that they're saying thank you, and thank you for being with us. It's been a great year.
It has indeed. And everyone out there, keep yourselves safe. Have a good Christmas or whatever festive thing you wanted to do. If you're not Christian, I'm not Christian, I hate Christmas, but it seems to be the done thing over here. So we're going to go off and do that. Have a good new year. That's much more fun. You can get really smashed if you want to do that. And we'll be back in January. The Bishop and the Bear and the Smacksman are taking Christmas off too, but we'll be back in full force in January as well. We're all having a little bit of a break for a couple of weeks and just enjoying the end of the year. It's been lovely to have you all along. Thanks you two for getting up this morning. You didn't have to get up this morning, did you, Messi? You were already up. It's a pleasant time of day for you fucker. But thanks, Al, for getting up. David couldn't be asked to. Well, he would have only been on for about 6 minutes, so that kind of makes sense. A wise decision by him. He's in Spain. He phoned me from Spain yesterday. He was in a cannabis cafe having a whitey.
Fuck.
I'm
kind of glad he didn't get through.
He is international. He's an international man of mystery, isn't he?
He is indeed. He is indeed. Right, peeps, we're going to say goodbye. Have a good festive season, and we will see you in the new year. Until then,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla crickets. Whoa. Guerrilla.
Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Carol Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien. O'Brien, Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy, and we know that for a fact. Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on the TV and the radio. So vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. Would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin.